Welcome back to the garage. Gerald here with you. Of course, you know that already. I have a massive tier list that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. I'm going to make it quick. I'm going to go through these movies so damn fast, I won't even be able to see myself blink. That's not true. I ramble on way too much, which makes my editing a lot harder. I'm actually doing that right now. I'm going to be giving you the tier list for every single new 2025 release that I've seen. I've got 6 tiers, and it's going to end up being 61 titles as I'm recording in early to mid-July, about halfway through the year. Now, I will tag it on this video. I did my top 5 best and my top 5 worst movies of the year so far. So if you want a truncated version of what's probably going to show up on the top tier of this video and the bottom tier, you can click on that video. I also did my mid-season movie awards, where I gave out my personal favorite but also prestigious awards-worthy performances from females and males, along with movies and director. Now, before we get into the tier list, I want to let everybody know, listen up. All you have to do is subscribe. Click subscribe. Okay, why am I pressuring you? But whatever. If you want to click subscribe, every month I'm going to have a drawing as a thank you to my subscribers, where I'm going to give them a digital code for a brand new release, which of course right now would be for a 2025 movie. This month, for the month of July, it is for Sinners, the Ryan Coogler vampire epic that I think is going to be showing up all over award season. I just got the 4K, thank you, courtesy of Warner Brothers, and I'm gonna give you the digital code that's inside of this bad boy. All you have to do is be a subscriber, and if you are a member to the channel, you can click join below if you wanna read all about that. You get 3 entries per month, triple entries for being a member. Thank you so much, not only to my garage executives, my members, but also to my subscribers. And it's just a little thank you. I don't use these digital codes, maybe for like a G-rated one that I want to play in the minivan for my 5-year-old, but I just won't share those, I guess. But the other ones, they're up for grabs, and I'm going to give out one every single month to a random subscriber, so make sure you click subscribe below. Let's get into the tier list. It's actually the biggest one I've ever done, 61 films. All right, let me bring it in here. I did a little square there because I don't know. I might have to, throughout the video, I might have to like make it smaller. There's a lot of movies here, and there's 6 tiers. Let me go over the tiers with you real quick. I put the score in parentheses there to save myself time from explaining it. Those numbers mean that's the score that this film would receive from me if I did a review on the channel for it, or in some cases I did. So if you're on the S tier, already on my ballot, you know, like you're an Oscar winner in my eyes, basically. Legit as fuck, pardon my language, although I put ASF on there for the next tier. Bar Met is the middle tier, which a lot of movies will probably fall on because this has been a fairly mediocre 2025 so far, with the exception of some real standouts, as you'll see as we go through the list. A movie that exists is 5 to 6, but that's like a movie where it's like, I didn't hate it, but like, it's there, it's fine, it's okay. Could Have Been an Email is a movie that I watched that was borderline loathing it, but it was like I watched it, it had some good parts to it. And then last but not least, the bottom tier is Lemon Scented Trash, which means it might have 1 or 2 redeeming qualities that make it kind of lemony, but overall it's a piece of shit, and please don't watch it. Now, there's gonna be some on that tier that you guys might disagree with, as I've seen in my comment section on some of these reviews. You guys can be mean. If there's something I really, really wanna say about it, I will. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be tier listing these bitches. 28 years later. By the way, if I did a full review of these on the channel, I will mention that so that you can go to that review and yell at me for my ranking versus doing it on this video. It's gonna go on a movie that exists here. It was fine. The Assessment, I love this thing, legit as fuck. I can't remember if I've told you or not before, but Elizabeth Olsen gives Alicia Vikander a sponge bath. So naturally it's on the legit as fuck tier. Black Bag, I'm gonna put on Bar Met. I mean, it was good. You know, it didn't blow me away like a lot of Soderbergh projects have in the past. I saw a lot of people, especially because it was in the early part of the year, just fell all over this thing, and just, it was a love fest. For me, it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I'm not over the moon about it. Borderline is a movie with Samara Weaving that I wish I had liked more because the premise was really interesting with this like toxic fandom. It also has Jack Nicholson's son in one of his very early film roles. He plays the bad guy in the movie. He essentially kidnaps Samara Weaving, who's a very popular pop star, because he's infatuated with her. And there just was hardly any Samara Weaving in it after the first act. She was underused, to put it lightly. A Breed Apart is going to go on the Lemon Scented Trash tier. I did a full review of this one, by the way. I think it's weird because A Breed Apart is meant to be trashy, so it's kind of supposed to be on this tier. So it's supposed to be one of those so bad it's good movies. And truth be told, I did have fun with it, but at the end of the day, it's just not a great film. I'll tell you what is a great film, though, is a movie called Bring Her Back, and I just saw it. The Philippou brothers, who also did Talk to Me. So I didn't get a chance to do a review on the channel of this film, but it is for the sickos. Like, this is a crazy film that makes Talk to Me look like an episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I've talked about this one on my channel before. I actually talked about that mid-season awards video I did and my top 5, bottom 5. This movie, Bring Them Down, is mentioned at length on those videos, starring Christopher Abbott and Barry Keoghan on a secluded island off the coast of Ireland. And it's a crime drama with sheep, and it's a lot of weird shit going on in this movie. One that is not one of my favorite movies of the year is Captain America Brave New World. I'm going to put it on a movie that exists. Harrison Ford saved it for me. His hamming up of that character and the Red Hulk specifically, which we didn't get enough of the Red Hulk. He didn't really show up to the last 10 minutes of the movie. But when he did, it was very entertaining. It was just too few and far between. It's a movie that exists. Chasing Amy is a documentary that I just saw about a trans man who was heavily influenced by Chasing Amy growing up to kind of come out of the closet and to become his true self. He was a woman that transitioned to a man, and basically the documentary follows his story doing that, but how Chasing Amy was a huge part of the courage that he was able to obtain to do it to his family. What's really cool about it is that Joey Lauren Adams, who of course plays Amy in the movie, and Kevin Smith, the filmmaker, heard about his story, reached out to him, and they are actually now part of the documentary, and they helped him get it made. Clown in a Cornfield is going to go on a movie that exists here. I love horror. I love fucking clown horror. This one was like an elevated kind of gorier episode of Goosebumps. It just didn't do anything for me, especially based on the word of mouth I've been hearing. Did not live up to the hype. What did live up to the hype was a movie called Companion, legit as fuck. Sophie Thatcher is also mentioned on my mid-season awards video. I said she was one of the best female performances through the first half of the year. Great movie. Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up, is a very fun animated film that me and my 6-year-old had a fucking blast watching, and we actually rewatched it when it came on Prime, and he loves this thing, and I love introducing him to Looney Tunes. It's not going to change the world. It's going to be on Bar Met. It is a fun time, though. My Dead Friend Zoe is also going to go on my legit as fuck tier. Great movie that I also came to late. Ed Harris and Morgan Freeman are in this movie, 2 powerhouse veterans, and it tells the story of this young girl who is ex-military, and she's dealing with the loss of her friend Zoe, who continues to, like, I don't know if haunt's the right word, but continues to be with her, even though she's passed on. And it's the emotional journey of her kind of letting go of that, essentially like a version of her PTSD. Great film. I really enjoyed it. It's on my legit tier. The Dead Thing is lemon-scented trash. One of my biggest pet peeves is when a horror film has a amazing premise on paper and you read it and you go, oh my God, that hasn't been done yet. That is wholly unique. I haven't seen that, or if I have, it's been very, very few times, or it's been a long time, or whatever. The Dead Thing's premise is that it's a ghost story, and the ghosts that are haunting the main character in the movie, the reason that she's able to conjure them is through this dating app. And if she swipes right, basically, is that what you do? You swipe right? I don't know, whatever it is to choose them. And it ends up being a spirit, they come to her. So that's like really interesting and really intriguing. But then you get into the film, and after that setup is explained, which really you already know it from the trailer, basically. But after the first like 20 to 30 minutes, and you kind of know that's the deal, it becomes really slow, kind of excruciatingly slow burn material, and it just never went anywhere else. Man, let's go. I'm gonna put this on legit. It's the Diane Warren documentary called Relentless. We have got to get this woman an Oscar. I'm actually working on a video right now that'll be out hopefully by the end of July, where I give you my favorite Diane Warren songs that she's written, and I also talk a little bit about the history of her Oscar nominations and how she has not won yet. Currently having, I believe, 14 Academy Award nominations with no win. She does have an honorary Oscar that she got a couple years ago, but a competitive Oscar has eluded her, and there's been some freaking all-time bangers that literally will live in the halls of the greatest music songs of all time. And you look at the songs that won those years that she was up against. I mean, Randy Newman, I love you, but I mean, Diane Warren should have at least like 2 or 3 Academy Awards by now. I mean, this is crazy. If anybody from the Academy tunes into this channel, Get her a fucking Oscar like ASAP. Oh man, Dog Man. I don't really have a lot to say about Dog Man. It could have been an email. My kids liked it. They made me watch it. I mean, sure, I guess. Drop is another legit as fuck movie that's going to be right around an 8 out of 10. I did a full review of that one on the channel here too that you can refer back to when it came out. But Christopher Landon knows how to do a horror comedy. And he does that here, but he raises the stakes a little bit. There's a little bit more like, ooh, this is real, this could be bad situation. Ephus is gonna go up on already on my ballot tier. There's another one I'm gonna talk about here in a second that those two were the two biggest, most pleasant surprises so far of 2025. This is a very slow, quiet movie. Not a lot of score, no like gimmicks, no quick editing, no crazy cinematography. It's literally an abandoned, well, almost abandoned or really old baseball field with these two elder teams, group of dudes for the most part. There's a couple women in the film, and they're older and they've been playing baseball with each other in this rec league for decades. And the field that they play on is closing down because they're building a parking deck there or something like that. So it's their last game together on their beloved field, and you love the camaraderie that exists because of baseball, which I do. And you love like comedies or movies like Napoleon Dynamite or Nacho Libre, those types of like kind of slapstick comedies, but like dark humor that is like not really funny, but the awkwardness of it kind of makes it funny. Some more lemon-scented trash for you, and that's The Electric State. Unfortunately, I did a full review on the channel for this movie too, and what a piece of shit this thing was. Millie Bobby Brown, somebody save her from Netflix jail. Man, don't watch it. F1, the new movie with Brad Pitt, is gonna go up on legit as fuck. Probably around an 8 out of 10. One of the best movies of the year. I did a full review on that one as well. A double feature actually with Megan 2.0 and F1, both of which I really, really liked. So I'm gonna put it on my legit tier. Another one that I'm gonna put on my legit tier, and I was checking Letterboxd and people are kind of bashing this thing. I was talking to my friend and channel member Kayla about this one. I love this movie. By the way, Kayla, have you seen that thing yet? But it's called Fuck, Marry, Kill, and it's a movie produced by BuzzFeed. So right away you go, this is not gonna be good. And like I said, a lot of people don't think it is, but I had such a blast with this movie. She's trying to be back on the dating scene, so she's on several dating apps, and she ends up swiping right on 3 different dudes. While she's like kind of in it with all 3 of these guys, kind of going on various dates and hooking up with them to various extents or whatever, we find out there's a serial killer in the city that she lives in that's using the dating app to kill his victims. So now it becomes like a whodunit mystery, kind of Agatha Christie type vibe, where it's like, which one of the 3 men that she's involved with is the killer, and she's trying to figure that out and going on dates with him to try to put clues together. Final Destination Bloodlines, I really liked. I'm going to put it on bar Met because it's probably going to be around that 7 out of 10 range for me. I love this franchise, how it continues to like come up with these inventive type natural kills, and we get a lot of them in this one too. The only thing I would say about this movie though, and this version of the Final Destination series, these seemed a little more far-fetched than even some of the ones that we'd gotten in the previous 5 films. Like, I still liked them, but like the whole opening sequence with the Space Needle restaurant and all that, like it was just obviously for cinematic effect, and I understand the point of these movies is not necessarily to be realistic. You have to suspend disbelief, which I did, and I enjoyed it. And there's some other kills throughout the movie that I really, really liked, like the MRI machine. If you've seen it, you know what I mean, but let's just say a hospital's gonna have that machine with that power in a room unlocked. Like, it's just not real. Like, if it is, they need malpractice lawsuits for years. Freaky Tales underwhelmed me with the exception of like one of the acts. It's an anthology film featuring Pedro Pascal. It was decent because I love the aesthetic. There's a freaking amazing cameo in this film that I won't give away for you that I absolutely loved. But aside from that, and like the last act of the movie or the last story that we get in the film with Pedro's character, it was okay. It's gonna go on my movie that exists tier. Friendship is going to go up on already on my ballot tier. I fucking love this movie. This is also in my top 5 to 10 of the year so far. It's probably going to be one of the films that will still be lurking around that list at the end of the year because it just blew me away. It was a dark comedy that was rooted in something I experienced in my own life as a middle-aged dad. And I'll just leave it at that. But if you are of a certain age group or bracket in suburbia, this movie's gonna hit with you. And it also has tremendous performance from not only Paul Rudd, Tim Robinson, who I think gives one of the best performances that we've seen so far this year that of course won't be acknowledged by the Academy because of the type of film it is. G20 with Viola Davis is going to go on the lemon scented trash tier. I actually had a review queued up for this on the channel when I saw it, and I decided not to review it because I was so pissed. I don't understand how you can mess up a movie with Viola as the president because that right away I go, well, you have to do a lot to mess that up, and they did. Not good, not good. Havoc is a movie that exists. It's okay. It's probably around a 6 out of 10. Tom Hardy. But when you have a movie directed by Gareth Edwards, who did The Raid, is just a great action filmmaker, you kind of expect something a little less Netflix, even though this is a Netflix original. I was kind of hopeful that it would like be on Netflix, but not be Netflixy, you know, like their action movies, the Hemsworths and all that shit. Hard Eyes, I'm going to put on Bar Met, another slasher version on the Valentine's Day lore. It was good. It's not one that I loved. I wanted to love it, and I just didn't. I thought the reveal was kind of stupid. The last act really kind of ruined it for me, honestly. It would have been a tier up probably had it not been for the reveal and who the killer ended up being and how predictable that kind of was and the way they handled it. I just didn't like. Hell of a Summer is a movie that I really was like, man, I'm going to love this thing, because you have these two kids that love the slasher genre, the 80s camp slashers, and Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick, but it just didn't hit. It was like they tried to do the 80s camp slasher with the modern like social media, TikTok, Instagram vibe. And while I appreciate the ambition, it just didn't hit with me personally. Another one that could have been an email is Holland, starring Nicole Kidman. Man, you know, I hate it because it's like you read it and you see the trailer and you go, that's gonna be fucking good. Like, Nicole Kidman's gonna eat that thing up, you know? And she did. She was really good in the movie. And it was very like Pleasantville, if Pleasantville was like a psychological thriller / horror, but then it just kind of lays there. And it also went off on so many different paths from a plot narrative perspective, where it was like, I thought that was gonna be the piece, and then it went past that, and it talked about an affair that she was having, and then it kind of forgot about that, and it went to like the father and kind of what was going on with him, and then it kind of forgot about that, and then it was talking about the kid, and it was like, it never brought everything together cohesively enough for me to enjoy it. All right, here we go. I just recorded a review actually right before this for K-Pop Demon Hunters, which is a Netflix original animated film that Sony Pictures Animation did, and I fucking loved this thing. On the review, spoiler alert, I don't know which one of these videos is gonna come out first, but I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's in my top like 5 of the year right now. I was absolutely floored by this movie. Really, really good film that I can't recommend enough. And then you look at Lilo and Stitch. Honestly, I'm tempted to put it on lemon scented trash, but I'll put it on could have been an email. It had some redeeming qualities. Basically, the first act is good, but once the aliens get to Earth and once they're kind of on their mission to find Lilo and Galifianakis and his buddies show up, it was a shit show. It was literally a pile of trash after that. But the first like 30 minutes is enjoyable enough. The Life of Chuck is one that it should be on my top tier. I mean, it should be already on my ballot, but it's not. It didn't work for me. And a lot of people have come at me in my comments on that review, which by the way, I did on the channel, and that's fine. You know, I can have my opinion, and my opinion is that I didn't like the way the story was told narratively. I would have rather it had been told in chronological order from beginning to end, because what I feel like the movie that Flanagan made here, while it was directed flawlessly and the technical aspects were a great achievement, screenplay included, breaking it up messed it up. If it had been technically a marvel like that, and then it had been a movie told in traditional structure, I would have probably loved it, or I'm guessing I would have. But when you gave away the ending in the first 20 minutes, I'm gone. I'm out. It's like I know where we're going now. So everything else after that was predictable to me. And that just kind of ruined the experience for me personally, even though it did carry some good things with it. Another one that could have been an email is The Luckiest Man in the World, starring Paul Walter Hauser. This is the true story of the guy who cracked the code or beat the algorithm of the popular 80s game show Press Your Luck. You know, the big bucks, no whammies. But when I say it could have been an email, this literally is an email, because you can go to Wikipedia and read this movie right now. It is basically a Wikipedia page. It doesn't expand on anything other than just like what happened on that day or those couple days when he was at the game show on the studio lot. The Materialist, I'm probably on an island. It's on my legit tier. I love this thing. It's also in my probably top 10 to 12 of the year right now so far. I don't know if it'll still be lurking around at the end of the year, but Celine Song hits with me. I get her. She gets me. Like, same thing with Past Lives. That was actually my number 1 of that year of 23. And this one's going to be in probably the top 10 to 15. She just packages movies a certain way. and then takes that packaging, and when you open it, it's not what you expected. She subverts expectations, essentially, is what I'm saying. Megan 2.0 is, I'm doing it, guys. I don't give a fuck. Like, this is my channel, this is my ranking. Yes, it's legit as fuck. Yes. I love this bitch, Megan. She is like, I hope that we get 50 movies of this. I hope this is like Child's Play all over again. Like, I just want to see a Megan movie every couple years. Like, I love this character, and I love how they basically turned the sequel into T2 with Megan. I mean, it's to die for. I've seen mixed reviews on it. I just love it. It is literally made for me. You probably never would have thought that I would have rated that one higher than the latest Mission Impossible film, but I do. I did a full review of The Final Reckoning also. It was good. Bar met is going to be where I put it, probably right in that 6 to 7 range. You know, Tom Cruise is a madman, and I love what he's done for cinema. I love what he did in the Mission Impossible franchise. He's a fucking maniac who is one of the best alive, and he is definitely the best action star that we have working today. They just play too much on the nostalgia of the franchise for like the first hour. Just give me the movie, you know? And then because of that, it's like almost 3 hours long, and it's like we didn't need an hour of catch up. Mickey 17 is also going to go up on my legit as fuck tier. I love this thing. I mean, it's probably around a 7 out of 10, but you know, much like I said with Celine Song, Bong Joon-ho knows how to make a film to speak to me. All of his movies have hit with me, some more than others. You know, my favorite ones in his catalog, of course, are Parasite and Memories of Murder, you know, those types of movies. But Mickey 17 is more on that Okja side, where it's kind of quirky and weird, but Bong Joon-ho weird. You know, it still has elements of like deep-rooted thinking and thematic through lines that are important, but it's just so slapsticky and strange that it's hard to really focus on it. A lot of people bashed Mark Ruffalo in this film. I fucking loved him in this movie. Kind of like when he was in Poor Things, he just literally cracked me up, and I was glued to him on screen. Of course, Robert Pattinson also playing these like multiple roles of the same character. Minecraft is going to go up on the bar met tier. I actually really liked it. I really liked it. I don't know anything about Minecraft. You know, I was talking about K-pop a second ago. My kids introduced me to a lot of the shit. And seeing their eyes light up and them explain the Minecraft game to me as we're watching it in the theater, there was just something special about that. And it was cool to not know anything about it and still be invested in it. The Monkey is another one that I'm going to put on bar met. It's probably around 7 out of 10. I really, really liked it. I like how this one leans more comedy than you would expect, especially from the trailer for the film. Or if you're thinking about Longlegs, which was the movie Oz Perkins did before, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually like The Monkey a little bit more than Longlegs. Now, I think Longlegs is a better made film, technically, but I enjoyed my time with The Monkey more. It's just so over the top, so campy, so stupid and silly. That's what I really enjoyed about it. He leaned into it heavily. A film called Nanas is also going to go up on bar met. It was good. I liked it more so because of my connection to My Italian Grandmother. You know, it's a movie where Vince Vaughn opens a restaurant. He just lost his grandmother who he used to cook homemade Italian meals with. So he opens a restaurant and has all these other Italian grandmothers that are still alive come help him run the restaurant and make the menu and all that stuff. So very touching, but it is very like Lifetime movie-y feel. But I love the story. The story was very heartfelt. Vince Vaughn's great in it. Probably the worst movie of the year that I've seen so far is going to go down here, obviously, on Lemon Scented Trash, and that is a movie called Off the Record. What a piece of shit. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll just tell you it has Margaret Qualley's older sister in it, which is what drew me to it. But it's a story about kind of domestic abuse between her and her newfound boyfriend. She's a musician in the movie, and he's a producer. So he uses his kind of leverage over her as a record producer to basically mistreat her, verbally abuse her, and it's insinuated that maybe he physically abuses her, but doesn't show it, thank God. And it just kind of doesn't do anything with that theme. It's like it just exists for what? For what? I have no idea why. Like, it was a very frustrating watch. One of Them Days is also going to go up here on legit. I'm going to have to move my camera down here. Let me do that now. I'll put it down there for now. But yeah, Keke Palmer and SZA basically doing like a female-led version of Friday with raunchy jokes and adventure, trying to get money to take care of business. If you love Friday or those kinds of like F. Gary Gray films, you're gonna love it. This is a really, really good film. I heard they might be doing a sequel to this. And if so, I'm going to be all over that shit. Another one that I really, really liked is Novocaine. Novocaine's also going to go on I didn't realize I had this many legit movies this year, but it's right around an 8 out of 10 for me too. Another Jack Quaid film on this tier. He was in Companion also. But yeah, you know, I mean, you guys probably remember this movie came out early in the year. I think it was a February release, I think. But he's a character who can't feel pain. So as a result, he's going on a mission to find his girlfriend who's been kidnapped, by the way, portrayed by Amber Midthunder, who I'm in absolute fucking in love with, so that helped get it here as well. One of the worst movies of the year was on my bottom 5 when I did that video I was telling you guys about, is a movie called On Swift Horses. You would think a movie with Jacob Elordi, Daisy Edgar-Jones, Diego Calva, Will Poulter, and Sasha Calle making out, having threesomes, lesbian affairs, gay sex would be a fucking amazing movie. It's not, because literally nothing else happens. Now, truth be told, that really probably should be enough, but it just wasn't for me. On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, I'm gonna put on Bar Met. I've saw a lot of my friends in the critical space have got this like in their best movies of the year. I really liked it. It just didn't hit me like it obviously did with them. I don't know why. Maybe I was in the wrong space when I saw it. I am excited to revisit it. I think it's a Nigeria murder mystery. One of their family members shows up dead, their uncle, and they're trying to, people within the family, not the cops, but the other family members, because there's like crime stuff going on within their family. They don't want to tell the cops. So they're trying to figure out who killed him and why he's dead. One that I did not enjoy, unfortunately, is a movie called Opus, which was also in my bottom 5 of the year. It's got Iowa, who I've loved for many years as a comedian, and now she's on the rise in terms of being like a real or like a, you know, sophisticated actress, of course, coming off of her success on The Bear, which helped, I'm sure. But she's going to be in a Luca Guadagnino film this year called After the Hunt, which she's actually getting awards buzz for. Would be phenomenal. But in Opus, she's the only thing redeemable in it, really. Maybe John Malkovich, too, in his committed performance as this kind of like retired celebrity. But the movie deals with how we worship celebrity and kind of the age of TMZ, and it's very topical and timely. It's just not edited together right, and it's kind of like the like tone is like, tonal shifts is not even the right term for this. It's like goes off the fucking rails out of nowhere, and then it'll come back to like a quiet narrative, and it's just really tonally weird. Paddington in Peru is not as good as some of the other iterations of Paddington, but he's the cutest shit ever. So at a minimum, he's going to be on the Bar Met tier. I did enjoy it. I watched it with my kids. Paddington in Peru is on Bar Met. Presence is another Soderbergh film that I'm actually going to rate higher than Black Bag. Black Bag I had on my Bar Met tier. Presence I'm going to put on legit as fuck. Now, it's not a horror movie. It's barely even a haunted house film, although that's really what it is. But the perspective is through the eyes of the ghosts or of the spirits. That's the unique twist on it. You know, like in A Violent Nature last year, I really liked through the POV of the slasher. So I love the inventiveness of it, but you have to be ready to basically be in a quiet house watching a family do normal daily stuff. I mean, that's really what it is. And then there's some stuff that happens in the last act with the medium that they bring in and some stuff that's really cool. But up until that last like 10 minutes, it's not a lot going on. I mean, it's setting up pieces of the puzzle for you, but it's not like you're going to be on the edge of your seat like, oh my God, this is crazy. David Cronenberg does a film, you know, again, it should be on my S tier. It just didn't hit with me. The Shrouds is what it's called, by legendary filmmaker Cronenberg, who is known for his body horror and is kind of like hard to watch horror sci-fi stuff. There's not a lot of that in here. In fact, this is another slow burn, quiet study of grief. And I understand, and I see that that's hit with a lot of people, and he actually mirrored this on the loss of his own wife, who I think died from cancer, and he wrote it during a time of dealing with that, so I appreciate what he's going for, and I respect a lot of the stuff in the film, but if I'm just judging the movie itself, it definitely could have been an email. It's not one of his better films for me. The Rule of Jenny Penn, I'm going to put up here on Bar Met. That's a horror film that you can actually stream on Shudder right now, starring Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow, right? So two powerhouse legends, and they live in a old folks home, a nursing home. John Lithgow is almost like the nursing home bully there, who is basically trying to get the new resident, Jeffrey Rush, to leave, and he does this weird thing where he has a puppet that he's named Jenny Penn, who he uses to kind of terrorize other residents there, and he's wearing the puppet like all waking hours. And then it becomes a bit of a horror or supernatural element where it's like, is the puppet real and kind of controlling him versus the other way around. Snow White, the live action remake, is definitely one of the worst films of the year, and I'm not the only one saying that. It's on the lemon scented trash tier, probably right at the top of that tier, around a 4 out of 10. But, you know, I do like Rachel Zegler, and I'm rooting for her, and I think that she's going to do some great things in the future. This just didn't hit, which is not her fault. It might be Gal Gadot's fault. Holy shit, I don't know what happened there, but not a good performance. Another pleasant surprise for me that I'm going to put up here on the legit tier, I'm running out of room, I wonder if it's going to expand for me, called Sacramento. At a minimum, this is on the Bar Met tier because Michael Cera's in it. But then you also have Kristen Stewart, who plays his pregnant wife in the film. And it's another movie like Friendship. It's in that same genre of two middle-aged men dealing with fatherhood and family and getting older and lack of friends when you get older and commitment to your wife and your kids. Very, very similar in the style of Friendship, which I obviously loved, but it's told more from like, it's a road trip movie. It's a buddy comedy with some pretty deep themes in it. Michael Cera is his normal, charming, out of this world. I want to know that guy so badly. Michael, if you're watching this, hit me up, please. I promise I'm not weird. Maybe a little. Well, you guys know I got to put Sinners already on my ballot because, first of all, it is already on my ballot. I've got it in a lot of my Oscar predictions currently, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Lead Actor for Michael B. Jordan. I also think there's a good shot for Supporting Actor and Actress, although we'll see how the season goes for the rest of this year. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say much more about Sinners. It is Ryan Coogler's magnum opus to this point. Thunderbolts, bar met. You know, I liked it. I mean, you know, the superhero genre, be what it be. I'm seeing Superman in a couple days. I don't know where that one would fall on these tiers, but you'll have to wait till the end of the year or see if I drop a review here on the channel. Thunderbolts, though, met my expectations because I don't have any for superhero movies anymore. I know that's bad. I'm just over it. I'm over the genre. It's too loud, it's too noisy, it's too ugly, CGI. But Thunderbolts brought it back down to earth a little bit, no pun intended. It was a little more grounded, nuanced, practical effects, which they've been talking about in different reviews of the film. And that was the intention of the filmmaker. Florence Pugh gives a performance that is Oscar-worthy in a comic book film, which is not something you see every day. The Ugly Stepsister is actually currently, July 10th or whatever it is, my #1 movie of the year so far. Absolutely. I've talked about this movie at length. I did a full review on this channel, and it was on those mid-season videos I was telling you about. The story of Cinderella meets The Substance. It is the fairy tale Cinderella as a body horror film. You can stream it on Shudder, and I would recommend it. Another one that's going to go up here already on my ballot is Warfare. You know, Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza did this in the trenches, real-time, holy shit, wartime film that just is harrowing as hell. I mean, it's like one of the most intense watches for me. I saw it in Dolby Cinema too. One of the best sound design films of the year also. Warfare is hard to watch at times, especially if you maybe have military experience, I would imagine, which I don't, but I would imagine it would make it even more impactful in watching this thing, but it's one of the best of the year. Another one that I think is one of the best of the year that's also going to go up here already on my ballot is The Ballad of Wallace Island. I've talked about this one a lot too. It was also on those mid-season videos if you want to check them out. It's a great film about this character, Charlie, who invites his two favorite musicians that used to be a duo to come perform for him for like $1 million on his private island, and the other one doesn't realize the other one's coming, so the idea is a forced reunion of his favorite folk duo. And we just get a great story of friendship and dealing with your situation in life, and it's beautiful. It's really, really a pleasant, good feeling movie. It is a feel-good film. The Wedding Banquet I'm going to put on bar met. It was good. It was not as good as movies like Crazy Rich Asians, but it has that similar kind of storyline where it's dealing with pastimes or traditions from the Asian culture and the East and bringing it over to America. And there's a wedding going on. They have to fake the wedding, but then they never really do. The movie has this kind of like through line that you're going to get to a certain climax that never really ends up happening. But Lily Gladstone's in it, and she was freaking phenomenal in this movie. I love her. Wick is Pain. I'm going to put up here already on my ballot. I think that I don't know if this is going to be eligible to be nominated for Best Documentary, and it probably wouldn't get it anyway because of the kind of talking head style of it, and it's only centered around John Wick and the franchise. But it was so interesting to see Keanu Reeves, as he's a huge part of the documentary, and Chad Stahelski, the filmmaker and essentially creator of the John Wick franchise, and how they kind of thought of this and worked it out and prepared for it and storyboarded it and lived it. They just lived this thing, you know? And it's a great, if you love John Wick, you've got to see this thing. It's a little bit too long because it runs over 2 hours. So I wish they had shaved about 15 or 20 minutes off of it, but I loved it. Wolfman is bar met. You know, Lee Winnell's a great filmmaker, a great horror filmmaker who's taking turns at these Universal monster movies, old classics. And he nailed it with Invisible Man because he used that general premise, but it was completely modernized and completely rewritten. Wolfman, unfortunately, he doesn't really rewrite anything. He just kind of puts it in today's setting. but there's nothing really different about the story. And the stuff that was different didn't hit with a lot of people. And I'm thinking most notably of the like creature design and the makeup effects. And then Woman in the Yard, I actually kind of liked. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10, so I'm going to put it on a movie that exists. It was good. I love that it was thought-provoking, you know, and Danielle Deadwyler is one of the best actresses we have today, and she was dealing with mental health in the movie, so her character was very fragile, and she nailed that performance. So it was very easy to connect to the material, even if you didn't like the movie, just because of her performance. But I did love that people were really talking about it, you know, and I said in my review, which, by the way, I did a review of this one, that I just couldn't stop thinking about the ending and the ambiguity of it and leaving it kind of dangling there for your interpretation. 9 movies that I would put top S tier so far this year. And how would I rank them? Well, you guys know The Ugly Stepsister is my number 1. Bring Them Down is actually probably my number 2. Sinners would be 3. I would probably put Friendship, Ballad of Wallace Island, Warfare, K-Pop Demon Hunters was so good, guys. Oh my God. And then Ephus and Wicked's Pain. So there you go. This would be my top 9, essentially, of the year right now. A lot of these will be in the mix, too. When we get to the end of the year, we'll see. But there's a tier list of the 61 films that I've seen thus far in 2025. Like I said, there's still some titles that I need to catch up on. I have not seen the new Superman yet at time of recording. But that is it, guys, for this tier list. That was a big one. How long was that recording? An hour? Jesus, I got to get my editing game on. Don't forget, you can win a digital code for Sinners. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Just hit that sub button. And if you want to click join, you can watch an intro video and see what it comes to become a member. And you can get all other kinds of perks in addition to triple entries for my monthly giveaway on the movie of the month, which is Sinners this month for July. Thank you guys for tuning into this tier list. Let me know down below what is the number 1 S tier movie for you so far in 2025. Or conversely, what is the worst lemon-scented trash that you've seen so far in 2025. I'd love to know that as well. Hit me up down below, and I'll see you guys out here next time in the garage.